Hello guys, welcome to a new video. We're doing a talking video today. Hopefully the sound is alright. I'm outside so you can probably hear things. Did I just see Joe? Or I'm probably imagining things. Well, I thought that I would do a talking video today because I haven't done one in a fat minute. And I feel like when I do talking videos on YouTube, that's when I can most authentically be myself. I feel like I'm still weird on TikTok. Like I don't feel comfortable being myself. Like I'm afraid of like the hate comments that I might get because people are fucking brutal. People are fucking brutal on the internet. Today I thought we would talk about the only diet that you need for success. Because right now, carnivore and animal-based are buzzing on social media. And here's my hot take. Okay, as you know, if you watch my YouTube videos, you know a few videos back I was saying that my husband Joe, I'm not wearing my rings by the way, I never fucking wear them, awful wife. Joe decided to try carnivore because I don't know what it is with men, they just like go onto something new every week, every 2 weeks they're onto something else. And in my head I'm like, I know this shit's not gonna last. He's gonna do carnivore for 2 weeks and he's gonna say, what the fuck am I doing? But when he's doing it, it's like something takes over him and he acts like it's the greatest fucking thing ever. I'm sitting on the sidelines just waiting for him to have enough of it, which is exactly what happened. He said he was gonna do 30 days. Yeah, right. I think he lasted close to 3 weeks. I think it was like 18 days maybe, which I knew was gonna fucking happen because who the fuck wants to eat meat for every meal? Vile. The thing to note is that there's nothing special about these diets. So obviously when you're eating carnivore, if you're strictly eating meat and you're somebody that doesn't like love meat that much, you're not gonna eat that much. So you're 1000% gonna lose weight. You're 1000% gonna lose body fat by doing the carnivore diet. You're cutting out carbs, you're not having any carbs, and you're just having fat and protein. But Joe's a prime example. Brother gained fat, brother gained weight while he was doing carnivore because he's a bottomless pit and he likes meat and he just kept fucking eating, okay? He was intuitive with it. He wasn't tracking because, you know, it's supposed to be magical. Carnivore is magical. You don't need to track when you're doing carnivore. There's birds fighting. Calories are still calories. Like they're gonna add up no matter what fucking diet you're doing. And that's why I can't stand the diet trends that go on. Because unless you get educated and understand why the diet is working or what the diet is doing, what the fuck is going on? You're not gonna be able to sustain it. And that's the number one thing that you need to understand. No matter what diet you do, whatever works for you, fucking great, awesome. Understand why the diet is working and how you will need to sustain it. That's the key, okay? So the best diet that you can do in order to lose weight, keep it off, and maintain it, I'm gonna say is 80-20, okay? That's my take. 80-20, 80% whole foods, 20% processed foods. Because if you're doing the animal-based diet, like, great, awesome. But what happens when you do want to eat processed foods? After you have cut them out and restricted them for so long, what do you think is gonna happen the first time you allow yourself to have some cookies or fucking brownies? Do you really think you're just gonna eat one and you're gonna be satisfied and happy and you're gonna go back to your only animal-based? Fuck no. Fuck no. You will most likely overindulge to the point of feeling sick. And then you'll go back to your animal, whatever. Like, unless you're gonna do the diet for the rest of your life, I see absolutely no point. But, if you have some type of chronic illness or disease or issues with inflammation, then yes, these diets can be super helpful for you. If that is how you have to live your life to manage your chronic illness or your disease, like I am all for that. You know, people who have certain diseases will benefit from doing the carnivore diet or being mostly animal-based and limiting processed foods. But like the average person who is generally healthy like myself, I don't need to do carnivore. I don't need to do animal-based. I'm eating 20% processed foods and I'm eating 80% whole foods most of the time, okay? Like, I still have days where maybe I'm eating like fucking 60% processed foods. That is just what works for me. And obviously, you guys know that I am intuitive eating now and I calorie tracked for 7 years. And I still have days where at the end of the day, I'm adding up my shit. because I want to see where I'm at. And there's nothing fucking wrong with that. And I hate labels. I hate the labels of like, oh, she's intuitive eating, or oh, she calorie tracks. Like, everything has to have a negative connotation to it because people suck off whatever it is that they are doing, and it's like any other diet or anything that anybody else is doing is like wrong. Everybody perceives what they're doing as the best fucking thing ever, and I don't perceive what I'm doing as the best thing ever, but I do think it's the most realistic. And as somebody that fucking hates labels, like, I've had comments on my videos since I started intuitive eating of people saying, oh, you're using a food scale. That's not intuitive. Bitch, a food scale? You're gonna say, I'm not intuitive eating because I'm using a fucking food scale. Do you know what intuitive eating even is? Intuitive eating is listening to your body, listening to your hunger cues, stopping when you're fucking full, not force feeding yourself food, and not restricting any foods. I don't restrict any foods, but listen, I don't want to be negligent because I am happy with my body. I would like to maintain my body. And if I were to intuitively eat sometimes, with the rate that I love baked goods, that shit adds up so fucking fast. Calorie dense foods, I could down 2,000 calories worth of baked goods in 5 fucking minutes and not feel anything. So when I have days where I'm eating a lot of baked goods, I kind of need to have some idea of what my intake is. I want to have some idea of what my intake is because, like I said, I want to maintain my body, and there is nothing fucking wrong with that. I don't need a label on what I'm doing. I just hate labels. Like, intuitive eating is whatever the fuck I want it to be. And I think that people should go about their diets, their lifestyle, how they want to. Whatever's realistic for you. You don't need to put a label on anything. Just do whatever is fucking realistic and sustainable for you, because everybody's different. Like, somebody that's doing carnivore and, you know, saying it's the best fucking thing ever, people get in so deep with it and then they start associating with it. Like, it becomes their personality. They cling on to it, and then they're going to defend it so hard because they're identifying with it. They're identifying with being carnivore. They're identifying with being animal-based because it brings them a sense of community with all the other people that are also in very deep, and their ego is clinging on to the name, the label, whatever. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, that's why people back up what they're doing so fucking hard. And I just don't believe in that. Like, even when I'm on the internet saying I'm intuitive eating, I advocate for people tracking calories. Yeah, track your fucking calories. Totally. If that works for you and you've learned so much through calorie tracking, awesome. Keep calorie tracking. I have nothing against it. I don't think intuitive eating is for everybody. I really don't. My husband, for example, who just did fucking carnivore, then I was like, you know what, why don't you try intuitive eating and just see how you feel? Just see how you feel. You did intuitive eating with carnivore, and because you were only eating meat, he felt like garbage. After the last day, like, he had been so irritable for like the last few days he was doing carnivore because he had no carbs in his fucking body and he had no energy. And the second he had carbs, complete personality change. Bro was so happy. Bro was so energetic. He was fucking living life again. You can't cut out carbs. Like, like, why would you? Unless medically you have some type of disease where doing carnivore would benefit you, why the fuck are you the average person cutting carbs out of your diet? Why are you the average person cutting sugar out of your diet? I tried to do that. I tried to cut sugar out of my diet to see if it would help my acne. It didn't. You know what has helped my acne? Seeing an esthetician and using the right skincare products and doing trial and error on my own skin. Realistically, I will never cut sugar out of my diet. It'll never happen. I won't do it because I love it. It makes me happy, and sometimes I want that dopamine hit, and there's nothing fucking wrong with that. There's worse things that I could be getting a dopamine hit from. All right? The only way to lose weight is through a calorie deficit. And I do think if you have no nutritional knowledge whatsoever and you have no experience with tracking your caloric intake, that tracking calories is super important, and using a food scale. Using a food scale changed my fucking life, and so did calorie tracking, because prior, I had eaten super healthy. I had done exercise 6 days a week. I did the cardio, I did the weightlifting, but I didn't know how to properly eat for the goals that I had, and I wasn't tracking my intake, and it got me fucking nowhere but being frustrated and defeated and irritated and confused. So through calorie tracking and using a food scale, I learned everything that I now know, which is why I feel comfortable intuitive eating majority of the time. If I'm not eating a ton of baked goods and I'm just eating my normal shit, I have nothing to worry about. I don't have a huge appetite. Somebody like my husband, Joe, he tried intuitive eating. The dude is a bottomless pit, okay? He does not get full. Somebody like him, he cannot intuitive eat because he will keep fucking eating and he will be fat, and he doesn't want to be fat. He's been actively trying to lose weight for so long. He overcame binge eating, okay? That was a huge issue for him for 3 years. And I'm like, dude, do what you know works. 80% whole foods, 20% processed. Track your intake and nail that shit every fucking day. That is the only way you lose weight. You have to nail your intake every fucking day, not just some days of the week. It has to be every day of the week. Like, you have to be consistent as fuck if you're serious about weight loss. Or understand that it's gonna take longer. And that's also okay, because I have clients who are going at a little bit slower of a pace because that's what's realistic for them. Okay, most people want to lose 1 pound of body fat a week, and that is what is realistic and sustainable. Being in a calorie deficit to lose about a pound a week is like 400 to 500 calories a day deficit. So if my maintenance is 2,000 calories and I shave 400 to 500 calories off that, that's about 1,500 to 1,600 calories that I would have to be eating every day to lose 1 pound a week. I've talked about this in previous videos before though. You have a weekly total. So my maintenance, 2,000 minus my 400 to 500, let's just say, to keep it simple, 500. If I want to eat in a 500 calorie deficit a day, 1,500 times 7 is 10,500. So this is my weekly total right here. And I can break this up any way that I want. I do encourage people to experiment because different things work for different people. But like I was saying, for somebody like my husband, he can't intuitive eat. He doesn't get full. He could keep eating and he doesn't get full. Somebody like him, somebody that has a bottomless pit, it might not be wise while you are actively trying to lose body fat, while you're trying to lose weight. But once you reach your weight loss goal, like, this is when you can, I think that you can transition into intuitive eating and learning how to, I don't know, like, he just can't. He can't intuitive eat. He just can't. But like, I also understand the argument of people who say like, well, calorie tracking is so bad because it makes you ignore your hunger and this, that, and the other, which, like, I don't completely agree with that because I was still intuitive while I was tracking calories. So in terms of that, what I mean is I was still listening to my hunger. I was having high days and low days. So you have a weekly total number of calories that you can eat. And I wouldn't eat the same amount every day. I would listen to my body. I would eat when I was hungry and I would stop when I was full. Obviously, as somebody that loves to taste food, there would be days that I wasn't hungry and I would keep eating the calories because I had them and I love food, and I would force feed because I wanted to taste food, not because I was hungry. So intuitive eating has definitely helped me with that, I must say. Because obviously if I'm trying to maintain my weight, I don't want to fucking get fat. So I'm not going to force feed the calories anymore when I'm not hungry because I don't know where I'm at for the day. So I'm not just going to keep piling food in when I'm full. And that is something that has definitely helped me maintain my weight thus far. But again, like I said, if I know that I'm going to be eating a bunch of baked goods and a bunch of fat shit, I want to have some idea of my intake. And I'm still going to use a food scale here and there. Not every day, but when I feel like it and when I want to, because I make the rules. It's my fucking life. I will do what I want, and I don't feel the need to put labels on it. I just don't. That's why I hate the fucking diet trends. Carnivore, animal-based, like, people need something to attach to. They need something to identify with. And like, that shit's not sustainable. Cutting anything out of your diet is just not sustainable. Like, I'm all for cutting back on processed shit. Of course, processed food is not going to make you feel the best. It's going to fuck up your digestion. Processed food might have some effects on your mental health, for sure. There's been studies on that, like the food dyes and that kind of stuff. And if you're eating that stuff in moderation, I truly think that it's okay. Moral of the story is, there's no magic diet for weight loss. Weight loss comes down to a calorie deficit, a numbers game. And as much as people want to shit on tracking and say it's disordered, blah, 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 it all has to do with your mental and your perception. Everything. And everybody's perception is going to be different, obviously. those who are more enlightened and understand this are not going to have such negative mental aspects when they're tracking calories if they're strictly looking at it as data and they're not making it this emotional experience and relationship. If you're looking at food as this emotional experience and, oh, my relationship with food, that is setting you up for failure. And like, that is the shit I don't fucking like. We don't have a relationship with food. I've said this before in videos too. We have a relationship with ourselves and with other people. We don't have a relationship with an inanimate object. You have to take the emotional aspect out of food. And I get that that's hard because there's times that I emotionally eat food because I want to taste it. Not because I'm fucking hungry, but I'm aware of that. I know what's happening. If this is an unconscious thing for you, that's when it's an issue. And I think that people really have a problem tracking calories because they make it so emotional. And it's like, if you eat over your calories one day, it's not the end of the world. You eat under your calories one day, not the end of the world. That's why I have my clients focus on a weekly total and a calorie range instead of strict macronutrients. That shit doesn't fucking matter. You don't have to hit a certain amount of carbs and a certain amount of fat and a certain amount of protein every day. Fuck no. You don't have to do that. It doesn't have to be this neurotic process. Calorie tracking is quite simple. If you eat within a calorie range, like give yourself, okay, me for example, right now my maintenance is around 2,000 calories. If I was tracking calories, what I would aim to eat would be 1,900 to 2,100 calories a day. So I have like a 300 calorie range that I'm working in. If I happen to eat less than 1,900 calories one day, okay. If I happen to eat over 2,100 calories one day, okay, doesn't matter. But if you get so fixated and emotional and let it hold so much power over you, that's when you're gonna have a problem. You have to just look at it as data and numbers. Like, you have to just see it for what it is and take the emotional aspect out of it. Especially if you want to be successful on a fat loss journey, you have to take the emotions out of it. It's the same thing with the scale. If you're constantly fixated on the number on the scale, you're gonna have some issues. Oh, Nova's crying at the window. It's all right, baby. Can you see her? I used to get so upset over the scale. If the scale was up, if the scale wasn't going down, I used to get so fixated on that shit. And Joe is the one that like talked me off the ledge with this. It really helped me understand how it doesn't fucking matter because your weight fluctuates so much day to day between 1 and 5 pounds. Why are you gonna let that stop? Why are you going to let that determine how your day goes? A number? You're gonna let that dictate your emotions for the day. Why would you do that? It doesn't fucking matter. It's data. You want to look at your scale fluctuations over time anyway. You want to take the average every week because like I said, it fluctuates so much day to day that is not an accurate representation of your fat loss process. So maybe one day you're 135. The next day you're 133. The next day you're 137. And then you go back down to 133, whatever. And then it's 132. You're taking the average of those numbers to see how it's trending. So in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter if you're 137 one day. Who fucking cares? Maybe you had a little more carbs closer to bedtime. Maybe you had more sodium. Maybe you're about to get your period. Maybe you had a shitty night of sleep. Maybe you drank alcohol. There's so many things that affect your scale weight that if you are letting it hold so much emotional value, it's gonna make your fat loss journey so much harder than it needs to be. Don't focus on it. And I know it's easier said than done, but you have to practice. If you weigh yourself 5 days a week and write it down in your notes app, and then you take the average every week, and then after 2 months you look at that data, if you were hitting your calories, you're gonna see that that shit is trending down. It's trending down. Yeah, I know it's slow, doesn't happen overnight, but that's just the way it is, okay? Fat loss takes fucking time, and that's why you wanna do it in a way that is sustainable for you. You don't wanna be killing yourself doing cardio every day and barely eating anything to get these fat loss results, because once you reach your goal, if you think that you're just gonna go back to whatever you were doing before, that's a recipe for putting the weight back on and some. You don't wanna do that. So You want to go slow and steady in a way that's sustainable for you. And I promise you, it's probably not by doing carnivore or any of those fad diets that you see. I'm always going to advocate for 80-20. And I think that tracking calories is important in the beginning. I really do. It's just your mental state that is the issue when it comes to that. And I understand that not everybody is mentally in a place to calorie track. But either way, if you're having mental issues, you're going to have a hard fucking time losing weight. Because it's so mental. It's so fucking mental. For me, it's like flipping a switch. When I go into trying to lose body fat, like, I just flip a switch in my brain and it's so easy for me. Because I will not let myself fail. When I commit to something, I'm not letting myself fail. There's a 0% chance. I just won't do it. That's like the level of discipline that I have. I think that's all I wanted to say. I hope that this is like not all over the place. I didn't like write down any prompts, which I should have. I should have been more organized, but I kind of just wanted to free flow because I haven't done that in a while. So hopefully this video makes sense and is a little bit cohesive. Sorry if it's not. A few other things I want to mention here. If you need help calculating your calories, go to tdeecalculator.net. I've compared that to the formula that I use, which is just body weight times 15 minus 400 or 500, depending on how quickly you want to lose the weight. But it's pretty similar. And then again, like if you just calculate your weekly total and then break it up any way that you want, that's how you can do that. If you want me to do that for you, if you want to be held accountable, you need somebody to just give you all the information so that you could just easily follow something. Obviously, I offer one-on-one coaching. So if you would like to be coached by me and you need help figuring out a routine that's sustainable for you, and you need help figuring out your calories and you just want it done for you, made easy, scheduled out for you, I've got you. I'll leave the link in my bio to fill out an application if you're interested in one-on-one coaching, because I understand that it's a lot to digest and it's so much information, there's so much misinformation that it's really hard to figure it out on your own. I get that. And as somebody that is fucking lazy, I couldn't figure it out on my own. I was like, I don't have the fucking brain power to sit down and research this shit and figure it out myself. So that's why you hire somebody like me. But yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. That's all I wanted to say. So I hope you enjoyed this sit down video. Let me know if there's anything in particular that you would like me to talk about. I'm open and happy to discuss literally anything, so please let me know. But I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you learned something, and I hope you don't do any fad diets. All right? That's it.